Hi guys, my name is Rebecca Sabura and I decided to research peer tutoring. This strategy is where students are teaching other students. This stuck out to me because I'm a teacher who usually has an inclusion classroom. This strategy works for these types of classrooms because it reaches all students. Higher students are teaching the lower students, and the lower students are getting help through another approach and usually less intimidated. This approach also helps teachers who are becoming frustrated with the long line of those who need help, as well as students who are becoming frustrated with the work and waiting for help. This allows higher students who are bored and have nothing else to do work with peers who need help. This scenario occurred in my first article, Peer Tutoring in the Elementary Classroom. When the author experienced this when observing during student teaching in a second grade classroom. A student was struggling and another student tried to help, but the teacher got on to them because the teacher said she's the only one who should be helping. However, she had a long line of students who needed help. The author became intrigued with this idea of peer tutoring and started using the framework. This framework starts with the tutor and tutee moving to a quiet area. They work in only one book. The tutor goes through and tells the tutee what they're doing. They then show the tutee what they're doing. They allow the tutee to do some of the work on their own. The tutor gives hints but doesn't give the answers away. Then the tutees can do it all on their own, and therefore the tutor is learning from the tutee. This strategy was created around the cognitive load theory, which states that there is only so much room in the working memory, therefore sensitive to cognitive load. There are three types: intrinsic, germane, and extraneous. Intrinsic refers to the new information the learner is learning and expected to do versus what the learner can actually do. Extraneous is distracting from some information, and the germane takes the new information and combines it with what is already learned. The author does provide tips such as peer tutoring will be most effective when both the tutor and tutee have been taught this information. Teachers should listen to tutoring sessions and provide tutor with feedback, as well as model what the teacher is expecting, and this is best used in math. I believe I can put this to use by teaching my students the framework, modeling what I'm expecting, therefore implementing it into my math lessons. I believe this will have an impact on my higher students by providing them with a higher practice for those who get it, and this will help my strugglers by giving them another way of learning. In my second article, Peer Tutoring for EFL Learning, which is English as a Foreign Language, they describe the strategy as a teaching method that has been adapted by teachers in a variety of academic areas such as ESL, EFL, and mathematics. Numerous studies define peer tutoring as a way of having students who are learning well help those who are having difficulty. Slower learners are provided with the chance for one-on-one tutoring. In addition, tutees are less intimidated by peer tutors than by adults. This research was conducted in a 5th grade classroom in Taiwan where students were learning English. On the first attempt at peer tutoring, the average declined from 85 to 81, with 4 failing. However, this was the first time using peer tutoring. Once students became adapted, the next time they were tested, the average went from 81 to 88, with only 1 failing. All tutors and tutees except one tutee enjoyed this experience and said they would do it again. I believe I can use this in my classroom by pairing my ESOL students with my students who speak and read very fluently, or I could also pair my higher ESOL students with my lower ESOL students. That way they feel more comfortable knowing that this student is doing exactly what they're doing, learning a different language. I believe this will have an impact on my ESOL students by making them feel more welcomed and connected to their peers, as well as not so intimidated but this will also teach my other students respect for another culture by seeing students learn their language. In my third article, Playing the Good Behavior Game, they describe the strategy as a class of practices and strategies that employ peers as one-on-one teachers to provide individualized instruction, practice, repetition, and clarification of concepts. In this, the behavior problem students who struggle with reading were paired up with well-behaved students who did well in reading. They played the good behavior game where students were put into groups. Points were given to those who were misbehaving, not getting along, and not doing their work. After some time, the results showed that the tutors and tutees' reading fluency increased and the disruptive behavior decreased with the tutees. I believe I can use this by using this game to help with not just learning, but also behavior problems in the classroom. I believe this will have an impact on all my students because this will help students rely on each other. Both the well-behaved student will have to rely on the behavior problem students by working together and not getting so many points, and the behavior problem who struggles with reading will have to rely on the student who does well in reading to learn from them. During this research, I used 3 articles. These are them. And I truly enjoyed this and plan on implementing this in my classroom. I hope y'all learned something and enjoyed. Thanks.